I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
We're not just building muscle, we're building men. In the quiet hours, in the unfiltered moments, in the conversations that happen before the world wakes up. This is the Glue-OOM, where brotherhood forms in the dark so we can lead in the light, where vulnerability is strength and leadership is handed from man to man, one story at a time. Our mission is to empower, exhort, and inspire men to achieve their best selves through stories of reinvigorated male community leadership. We bring you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha PACs, ordinary men doing extraordinary things in fitness, fellowship, faith, and leadership, because we believe that every man has a story, and reinvigoration starts when that story is shared. This is the Glue in the Gloom. Shout out to our sponsors, Avior Wealth Management, Liberty Core Real Estate, Major Team Mortgage, Exclusively Eye Care, Omaha Laser Dentistry, and McNamara Law Firm. We appreciate your support. Yo, Gloom listeners, it's your boy, The Plague. Let me talk to you about our brother, Amazin, a.k.a. Patrick McNamara with McNamara Law Firm right here in Old Town Elkhorn. Amazin serves as outside counsel for small business owners, helping to form contracts, review agreements, and provide practical advice that keeps you focused on growth. He also works with families to create living trusts that protect your kids and safeguard what you've built. Reach out to our brother Amazin today at McNamara Law Firm and start putting the right plan in place for your business, your family, and your future. Now, let's get back to the gloom. All right, and we're back. We're doing it live. I got my man Dirt King with me here today, who I learned this morning. I didn't realize this, but you live in Bennington.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right across from the Bunstown site there.
Heck
like
yeah.
Right across the street.
I love it. So, fellow Northwest Omaha guy, we're here at the Nomad, downtown Elkhorn. Excited to get your story because I don't know that we've had a chance to really
I don't think so.
Connect much.
We talked like briefly at those leadership meeting things that we have on those Saturdays when I was at Site Q. But I don't know if we've actually been to the same beatdown at the same time.
I don't
like
think
the
so.
Convergence or a CSOP or something. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited because this will be cool. So where we like to have guys kind of start is just like that EH journey. So like who EH'd you, and then I would be curious, what was your first workout? Was it a disco workout? Or?
So no. So my EH story kind of goes all the way back. Like I'm in recovery.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd heard that
Me too.
you were in recovery too.
Brother.
Matter of fact, September 24th, I just had my 3-year.
Heck yeah.
So,
that's awesome. Good for you.
So it was kind of a wild story. Struggled with addiction for years and years.
Drugs, alcohol, both.
Drugs, mostly drugs.
Yeah. Same.
Alcohol was just a buffer.
Nice to have.
It wasn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it was never like my go-to. It was, started, really honestly, it kind of started in high school unknowingly. Like I had, broke my ankle in football my junior year, and then, blew out my knee in basketball that same year. And so like half that year I was kind of like on painkillers and stuff, you know? Didn't realize it at the time, but as I went into college and stuff, I really found myself drawn towards, those things, and that party scene. And it stuck to me like glue, basically my whole adult life. But, so 3 years ago, was about 9 months, 10 months clean, put on a ton of weight, white knuckling it, you know what I mean? Trying to do whatever and going to church. And I had reached out to my pastors and was like, hey, I need something more like than just doing this white knuckle type thing. So they said, well, we got a guy that comes to church here. My pastor's Roy Ballou Jr.
Huskers. That is cool.
City Light, Bennington.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
So met with him a few times, privately, and it's like, I'm going to set you up with this guy named Joe from church.
Okay.
He's covered alcoholic for 15 years or something.
Yeah.
Met with Joe for coffee a couple times and was like, hey, I need something more, man.
Yeah.
I'm on this weight. I feel like crap, but I'm clean. And he's like, well, come to this F3 thing. It's this
Nice.
workout thing. I'm like, bro, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Like I never see sunrises unless
Unless
I
I'm
had
up from the
been
night
up
before.
the whole
Yeah.
night before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny.
So about a month later, after meeting him and him telling me about this, I finally like texted him one night and I was like, all right, man, I'll give it a shot. And he's like, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm queuing and it's my birthday tomorrow. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
so I went to the Coop
Yeah.
and it was Tea Party. Tea
Oh,
Party
cool.
EH'd me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So it was a pretty cool thing. That's how I got introduced to it,
Yeah.
It's been all downhill from there,
Yeah.
It's honestly, it
That's awesome.
it has really saved, my mental health. I mean, as far as my physical, but
Yeah.
it's been more mental health,
For sure.
help than
Did
anything.
you do AA or NA
I mean,
any of that sort of stuff? Or?
I've been to rehab. I think that the last one I went to was their number 6 or number 7. I had lost count
Yeah.
from the time I was 23
Okay.
until my early
All sort of like
mid-
opioid kind of
opioids.
stuff.
I've done
Yeah.
opiates and then coke,
Yeah.
meth. I mean, just whatever
Yeah.
whatever was available.
Yep.
Really,
Yeah.
trying to fill a void that
Yeah.
I don't think the drugs aren't the problem. They're the solution to a problem.
Yeah.
I had an emptiness that I was trying to
Yeah.
fill.
Do you feel like, have you figured out kind of what that was? Is that,
Well, I mean,
maybe we're jumping ahead to the
no,
faith piece,
it's I mean, end of the day, it was Christ.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
needed Jesus in my life to really show me how to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amen,
Like,
brother. Yeah.
not living for me and selfish, because it was just all selfishness. It's lies, it's deceit, it's selfish
Yeah.
behavior.
Yep.
And when you take yourself out of it, find yourself going like, well, this is exactly what Jesus says to do. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so then that puzzle piece just fit perfectly,
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So, gosh, I love it. How wild, right? That we've been in the same group. We have such a similar
Yeah.
story,
Because I
but
remember that
haven't got
last,
to
you
connect.
had mentioned it.
Like in a
that
COT or something. Or?
Yeah, it was that leadership thing at
Oh yeah.
the Northwest
Yeah,
Division Psych
yeah.
Q thing that you always put on, because you
Yep.
passed that on, I think, but you had mentioned it because I think it was like your last
My last
one before you
Yeah,
handed it off. So
last
you
sort
kind of gave
yeah.
a little speech, and I meant to come up to you
Yeah.
and talk to you because you had just celebrated
Yeah, I was just 7 years this
Yeah.
last August, which is, it's wild how fast the time
Yeah, I
flies.
know, right?
And F3, I'm so glad that it's so cool that you reached out and then got connected, because there's so many guys within F3, right, that have a
have-
similar journey.
Sure, yeah.
And we're all,
I don't think it's as uncommon as people think, even if,
Yeah.
I mean, and not necessarily maybe like hard drugs or something, but just
yeah,
certain addictions in general. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
can really take over your life.
Yeah.
Like,
so talk me through, so growing up, did you play sports? or
yeah,
anything?
my
Okay.
whole life, I played baseball, and high school played football, basketball.
Are you
um,
from Omaha?
No, I'm from like southeast Nebraska, like down by Falls City, Nebraska.
Okay.
In that area, it's like right in the southeast corner,
Yeah.
kind of like Kansas, Missouri,
Okay.
down in there.
So small
Very
town.
small town. I had
Okay.
15 people in my graduating class.
Nice.
So like we played 8-man football.
Oh, nice.
So quarterback and linebacker,
Yeah.
both sides of the ball. Every play, you didn't
Yeah.
get breaks. So sports was everything,
Yeah.
especially in small towns. Like
Yeah.
if you had even the smallest amount of athletic ability, like you could shine,
Yeah.
and it was awesome.
Do you feel like those injuries, so those injuries were in high school,
Mhm.
you feel like that was sort of like, okay, now if I can't play, what's the point?
Right.
Or,
Kinda. I mean, because when I went to college, because I was really trying to play baseball in college. That was kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
that was the
Yep.
sport I was the best at. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily the one I enjoyed the most.
yeah.
I enjoyed football the most, but unless you're like
Yeah.
really good, like you're not going to go to the next level. But I had the talent, I think, to play, whether it was a JUCO or something in
Yeah.
college, and I kind of pissed it away. Trying to, I was more concerned of fitting in, because I went from like I said, my graduating class had 15 people in it. And then I went to Missouri Western in St. Joe, where it was like the college was 10 times bigger than my hometown, so I had never been in like this atmosphere of like this many people my age. And like, it was just a whole different world. So I was more concerned of like trying to find friends, cool group. I'd never been not in the popular crowd. So I was trying so hard. And then like I joined the fraternity instead of playing sports. I was like, I'm going to take a semester off. I'm so burnt out on sports. And then
kind of convince yourself.
Yeah. And then it just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah. It's so interesting to just think about the similarities. That was, I won my rotator cuff in high school, could never play baseball again. And then it was sort of like, well, if I can't do this, might as well party and talk to girls, but thinking about like, I guess, physical fitness, what's been your journey? So college, and then, you mentioned like you got clean, and that's, I think a lot of people, right, tend to like, I stop using drugs and then I eat.
You got to eat. Your body's just like, give me like something,
Yeah.
Cause I've always was in decent shape. I mean, it was probably because I didn't eat a lot, you know what I mean? But I was never like,
well, they
overweight.
Say cocaine helps.
Yeah.
Keep you skinny, right? I wouldn't recommend it.
The Jenny Crank diet is what we used to call it.
Jenny Crank. Oh man.
But so like I said, those like 10 months of being clean before I reached out to Tea Party, I had gotten up to 285 pounds.
Wow.
But
you're taller, right?
I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
But I've never weighed more than 240 pounds. Like 240 pounds was like huge for me. And so when I got to 285, that's when I finally was like, I got to do something. So last time I weighed myself last week, I was down to 231.
Wow.
So yeah.
So 50 pounds
in like 2 years. Yeah. Basically.
Wow. That's awesome. How do you feel? Do you know?
I feel awesome. Yeah. Obviously you want to just keep getting going, better and better and better. But I mean, this is the best I've felt since I was probably 22 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love it.
Spiritually and mentally, not just physically, everything. You know what I mean? From
full package,
from top to bottom.
That's awesome. It's so cool, and I have all these questions. I'm trying to like do them in the order that we normally go. So when you're thinking about, so you go to the coop, which is a little bit maybe more centrally located.
Yeah, because at the time I wasn't living in Bennington at the time. We lived off like 85th and State. Area.
So that would be pretty close.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't know about the size or a location. Tea Party was just like, this is the address. This is where I'm queuing. Like, come there. It's my birthday. I'm like, sounds good. Like, whatever, whatever it takes.
What'd you think of what was the workout like? Were you just gassed or?
Pretty gassed. Yeah. I think he took it pretty easy, knowing, where I was coming out of, but he was constantly like, modify as necessary, like take your time, because being an athlete, you show up and you're like, I'm gonna do it all and do everything, because then after that first one, it was like my dopamines and everything's like rushing. I'm like, this is great. This is what I needed. And then went to the very next one, because that one was, the coop was memorable because it's your first one, but the next one, it's the remember, is it the maze or something? I haven't been back. It's got this is kind of a running site down here off 204th and
Armory, probably.
No, it's south. Let's see. There's like a long hill at the end that you run up.
Yeah.
And so that was the second site I went to, but everyone there was like, and not knowing anything about me or anything, just I wasn't even a FNG at that time. I just showed up, but everybody there was like, because I was way behind because it was a running site, and picking up the 6, like that was super cool. And like, I didn't bring any water. So like when we got done, because this was in July, and I didn't have water. So I'm like dying, and the dude like gave me his water. Like I said, I don't even remember who it was at the time. I just remember it was just like, this was really cool. Like, because you didn't have to feel like embarrassed of how far back at the other end of the spectrum was these other guys that are working out with you, and that second beatdown was what really got me hooked on F3. Just how encouraging they were. Like, keep going, you're doing great. That's
awesome.
So
that's it's funny, like that's why we have those standards, right? And just try to always, pick up the six. You never know who's there, what they're going through. We went down to the farm this morning down in Sarpy, and just it's everywhere, like all, and it's across F3 Nation, right? Hopefully, but from what we know here, like it just is so great to see that, because we all need picked up, and we do it in the first F, all the time, but I think also in all the other Fs, right? In all the other areas. So tell me about the name Dirt King. I guess, how did that come about?
So they were, I'm in the middle and they're asking questions, nothing's really sticking. And somebody had asked, like, money was no option, like, or, what is it that you would love to do? Like, what? And I just said that growing up, like, we had dirt bikes, like, my whole life, from 5 years old up until, I was in my mid to late 20s. Like, we just rode and raced dirt bikes, like, every weekend, and I was like,
fun.
I was like, I'd love to, like, get back, and, my uncles and cousins still ride. And I was like, I'd like to get back and do motocross and stuff again, or trails or whatever. So Tea Party, it was like a light went off, because he was like Dirt King, because I guess that was his very first pedal bike, like a little kid's bike was called a Dirt King.
Nice.
So he like brought up a picture, like on Google, he Googled it. It's just like this little bitty
mini
BMX bike that said Dirt King on the seat. And so that's how Dirt King came about.
Nice.
Yeah. Everybody usually always thinks that it's like something to do with excavating.
That's where my mind is going. Yeah.
They're like, oh, you do dirt work? I'm like, no.
But, that would be cool too.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors does a bunch of excavation. I'm always like, how do you do that? Get it flat or evened out. So, where do you? So, have you done? Like, where do you tend to frequent? Like, do you like the running sites or the block coupon sites, or what's?
So, because right now I can only post Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay, just with family stuff.
So before I was going, let's see, like Armory, obviously the disco, because once I got introduced to disco, it was like game over. Like, this is, I can run 2 miles and have fun, and not like run 2 miles and like hate myself, like this is terrible. Oracle, like, did all those sites. My wife's schedule changed though, so Monday through Thursdays she leaves for work at like 5:40 in the morning.
Okay.
So
in healthcare or something?
She's she's like a nurse manager
for
a clinic. So I have to stay home with the kids. So but she doesn't work Fridays, obviously. So Fridays, and then I can post on Saturdays. So I usually just do the disco on Fridays, and then Bunstown on Saturdays, because it's right across the street.
Yeah.
So I know I don't really venture out much. I should probably hit more sites like on Saturdays, but
it's sort of the beauty of it, right? Like, I know for me, I was a 6-day-a-week guy, and then we have had 2 more kids since then. And with every kid, sort of the contract or the whatever, it's like, I need to be home, and ultimately, like, our family, it's one of the things we talk about in F3, right? Is your concentric, or how do you support your family? So what, when you think about like fitness goals and stuff, where are you headed? What do you want to get down to? A previous weight, or
when I had started, I said 235 was like my goal. My goal weight, because that was like exactly 50 pounds. And so I'm already under that. So it's kind of like, hey, whatever. I mean, I don't want to just keep losing weight. I need to do more like building,
lifting,
building
muscle.
So I don't just get skinny. I mean, there was more like, I need to lose this fat, but then at what point do you just try to get in better shape too?
You'll have to check out, I know they're launching a dumbbell site. I think it's a Friday dumbbell site somewhere in Bennington. I think Stratford Elementary.
Nightstand, I think didn't Nightstand start that?
Yep. I think Halloween is launch date for that. So it's a Friday, so it might work out for you. I try to do weights at home, and it's just this funny thing of like, for whatever reason, when you're out with the guys in the Glue-OOM, it's like, I don't know, it's just easier. It seems more, seems more fun. It doesn't seem like it's as hard of work to do when you've got the other guys there. But
because there was a couple times where I was like, well, I can just like work out. I can run around like my neighborhood. I can still get up at 5, but then like when my wife leaves, I'll just come in the house. And I did that. I think I did that twice. And like I was like running around, like trying to do like at the end of the block, like do some push-ups and then sit-ups and like did that. And I looked and it was like 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh, man, like it felt like I was out here for like an hour.
Yep.
And like, it's so dark. It's so quiet. And like, so I just like went home. Like, I'm like, it's just not the same. Like I tried though.
Totally get it. If you ever try to do a Murph on your own, have you done a Murph?
No, I haven't done a Murph.
Okay. Maybe that's on your list.
It should be a goal. To do a Murph. I've heard about it. It's pretty intimidating. I mean, I don't even pre-run because it's too intimidating, you know, just because like I'm still pretty gassed after like the Saturday beatdowns, you know, because they're like an hour. Like I said, I only get to go Fridays and Saturdays. So but Murph would be cool.
You'll have to get in, you know, I know the interesting thing with pre-running is it tends to be like guys that like running, right? Obviously, right? They show up. But I know over the years, Tea Party and some other guys have tried to do like the tank trot where like, hey, and intentionally we're going to go at a reasonable pace for the guys that show up. Right. So we're going to try to go, I don't know, 9 or 10 minute pace and just kind of work your way up. And that's, you know, maybe one thing to try. But
I should.
It's, you know, I think you're doing the right thing when when we think about like that fellowship piece. We think about, and I don't know if you've ever been to a Q source or if you've ever read any of that, but there's this idea of like the concentrica, right? And really like, you know, obviously your faith is in all of these relationships, but your wife's in the center, then your kids, and really like F3 is not on there because at the end of the day, like the way we invigorate male community leadership is help you be a better husband and a better father.
And all those, it's all those actual things that matter. That makes you the better person, right?
So and I guess I would be curious, you know, kind of on that same vein when you came into the group. So you knew Tea Party. Did you know any other guys, or how did you go about?
Did not.
Okay.
You know, I mean, and I didn't even know Tea Party, honestly. Like I had just met with him for coffee one time because my pastor was like,
meet with
maybe this guy can, because you know, like Roy's like, I mean, I can show you the Bible and Christ, but I don't know any of the really like addiction type struggles that you're dealing with. So this guy's a really Christ forward dude that's kind of been where you're at. Maybe he can be more, he can relate to you better. Is basically what it was, you know? So, I mean, I didn't even know Tea Party other than just meeting with him once at coffee, you know? So everybody was a stranger, you know. It took forever to remember names and do that. But then once Tea Party was like, hey, do you want to go play ultimate frisbee? Like this new site started. I'm like, oh, come check it out. You know, like I'm pretty competitive. I love it, you know? And so, that was, like I said, that was the end. That was it for me.
Do you feel like you're able to build some relationships with the guys at Disco and Armory when you were posting there? Like, were you able to stay for coffee, I guess?
Oh yeah. I always did coffee. Cause there's a lot of good stuff that happens at coffee for sure. Like you get to know people. But disco's cool because you work as a team. You know what I mean? Like you're on a team, so you're just working together for a goal and not just like a solo. I mean, you know, on beatdowns, like you're just you, but it's a team effort at disco. So there's really a lot of camaraderie and relationship building there.
What's it like to love your dentist? Well, you're about to find out, where healthy smiles go beyond your teeth. No drilling, no needles, and no anxiety. Relax. It's Omaha Laser Dentistry. Welcome to Better. At Omaha Laser Dentistry, Dr. Bullenparty uses the Solea laser, a CO2 laser that's used in all of his day-to-day patient care. He provides thorough exams, assessments, and treatments for things like snoring, tethered tissue, and extractions like wisdom teeth, as well as other surgeries. Check him out today at omahalaserdentistry.com. Discounts may be available for F3 Omaha members. Do you, and talk me through that maybe a little bit more, like for you, why is that important or impactful to kind of have that team mentality?
Just, you know, I mean, I think it just kind of stems back from the whole growing up playing sports and that just loving that team aspect of making each other better. And like, it's not just about you, you know what I mean? Like, just working together as a unit is what's more satisfying than just like a solo thing, you know?
I think I hear a lot of guys that say it seems like, and not every guy, right? Just to be clear, not every guy plays sports growing up, but even if you're doing band or debate or
Sure.
whatever, you're sort of a member of a
Of a
group
group.
or a
Yeah.
team. And I think I hear a lot of guys that really appreciate that aspect of
Yep.
F3. It sort of brings, you go to college, you come out of that, and if you didn't do that stuff in college, you weren't really on a team or haven't been on a team, but you get back into F3 and you kind of experience that again.
Yeah.
And it just reminds you of like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
To like not be alone, right? I'm not
Right.
solo going through this. I would be curious, do you feel like you've been able to share your sort of journey or story with
I
guys?
I remember, I think it was my 1 year clean date. I did a COT
Mm,
on it. Maybe it was my 2 year. I think it was my 2 year. I did a
mhm.
COT and kind of told a brief,
Yeah,
basically story of kind of
yeah,
my EH story and like, everything that I've been through. And there was a few guys, come up and like, hey, I've got this much clean time, or
yeah,
same, it was really cool. Thanks for sharing,
yeah,
because it's easy to be ashamed
yes,
of it.
yeah,
It's really easy if you let the enemy like get in there and be like, no, this is shameful, like, because it's embarrassing,
mhm,
and to
yeah,
all the
yeah,
things that you did and how you acted, how you looked. I mean, it's embarrassing,
yeah,
if you let it.
yeah,
It's just like, no, this is when I was broken,
mhm,
and look how look what I've done to come
yeah,
out on the other side and give hope to other people who are either dealing with the same things or
yeah,
maybe not even dealing with the same things, but they're like, wow, if that guy can come get through all that, like my problems that I think are so, you know, mountain,
yeah,
like I can get through that no problem. So
yeah. Just I don't know if you can reflect back, but what did that mean to you when those other guys came up at the end and sort of
so you don't feel alone, you don't,
yeah,
because at first you're like, I don't know, none of these guys seem like they
yeah,
can relate, but like whatever, like this
yeah,
is me. And so knowing that other people have done it, like it means a lot to
yeah,
hear other people share and not be, hide that part of their life. So
yeah. It's funny, and I think 12-step programs are great and
yeah.
rehab is great, right? You got to kind of do, what works for you. I know Slow Pitch will,
Yep.
call me about that comment, but I think one of my experiences, I remember being in Narcotics Anonymous and sort of, a guy in the group making this comment that like, the world or normies, I'm sure you're familiar with that term, or like, like they will never understand you, and that's why you come to these groups because we understand you. And I remember telling guys in F3 and realizing that that's not really true, right? There are guys in F3 that understand
For
you,
sure.
right? There are guys that even though they don't understand you, they love you and support you. And, and so I think that really opened my eyes to this idea of like, oh, okay, this isn't just something I can talk about
For sure.
in the rooms of a 12-step program. I
Yeah.
can talk about it openly with
Yeah.
these guys, but I don't know if that's been your experience
Yeah.
as
And I
well.
think, because I think that since one of the F's is faith,
Hmm.
I know they don't really expand about it, but I mean it's a God centered type
Yeah.
organization,
Yep.
really.
Yeah.
Because I remember before, so I was meeting with Roy and they had a men's small group, like a Bible study on
Yeah.
Friday mornings
Yep.
through the church, and that's what I was doing for those 10 months. It was every Friday morning at somebody's house. They would kind of rotate it around. And it just, like I said, I mean, it was good and all, but it was just not enough. And so
Mhm.
then once I found F3 and I felt guilty, like I'm like, disco's on Friday morning, and I'm like, I love going to disco. But I felt convicted, like I'm not going to my men's Bible study anymore on
Yeah.
Friday mornings because I want to go to
Yeah.
F3 and do this. And I have a good mentor from one of the rehabs I went to. He's a great friend. I don't know if you ever heard of Sheepgate, or it used to be called Teen Challenge.
Oh,
You
yeah.
probably hear
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
I went through that
Yeah.
program in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was a staff member there. So I call him all the time. I'm like, hey, what about this? And he's like, as long he goes, find something that God is there,
Yeah.
and it's fine. And I was
Yeah.
like, there's obviously God in F3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just
Yeah.
tell, like you can feel it. It's there, it's
Mhm.
present, the energy, everything. He's like, if you're getting more out of that, then absolutely do that. So,
Yeah. Is that so he's almost like a sponsor kind of relationship?
he was just a staff member, and we just really we had a lot in common, same personality.
Yeah.
And once I got out, we kept in touch. He was actually a groomsman in my wedding.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was just a great guy. He lives in Springfield, Illinois
Okay.
now, but just a great dude, solid. Kind of the same thing. Like he'd been to 10 or 12 rehabs. You know what I mean? Like his whole adult life, and but he's got like 15 years under his belt. But just a solid dude that I can reach out to with any problem. He will give me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and love me no matter what I say.
Yeah, and hopefully you're finding those relationships in F3 too, because I know that's been my experience. Is like guys that will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I can find plenty of people that will tell me what I want to hear.
Just sugarcoat stuff. Like I don't need sugarcoat. I've done enough of that. Like,
so talk me through thinking about your marriage. Right, it's like one of those key relationships. So a couple things. Would love to sort of hear just how that's gone over the years. Like how have you guys made it through? I think I might know the answer, but
so I mean, like I said, I've been married 6 years and I've only been clean for 3 years. So you know what I mean? So like you're like that math isn't
Is this
math.
First marriage?
Yeah, first marriage.
Okay.
Hers too.
So you got married a little bit later?
And I was 33.
Yeah. Okay.
And she was going on 34, almost 35. So she's like a year and a half older than me.
Okay.
So yeah, neither one of us had been married, didn't have kids.
Yeah.
So because I was kind of fresh out of Teen Challenge when we met, and I was doing really good, and still was kind of still doing the weekend warrior for a while, and then it just became full blown every day.
Yeah.
So, but she stuck with me because she had seen like the real me. She got a taste of it. Yeah. And so she stuck with me, believed in me. I mean, it wasn't easy. Like I put her through more than anybody who loves somebody should, and that's what we,
a lot of betrayal.
Yeah. A lot of betrayal, lies, but, I don't know, something like she said, she's like, I could have left so many times and no one would have blamed her, but he's like, God just kept telling me like, he's in there. He'll come around eventually, and I did. Thank God. Thank God she stayed. She's my rock. I couldn't do this life without her for sure.
What a testimony to God, and just like having faith. I always think of like the easy thing, right? Would be like my wife should have left me 100 times, right? But and that would have been really easy. But the story we get to tell now. On the other side of it, and really a testimony to their, our wives' faithfulness, right? Being able to just fully trust God, that even though what I'm seeing right in front of me looks like a mess,
right?
He'll find a way.
Absolutely.
Talk me through, if you don't mind, like, because I don't know, there's different types of addiction, right? I think what I've read, mine was maybe more of an acute addiction, even though I used drugs my whole life. It just got really bad, into cocaine for a season, but you mentioned kind of going in and out of rehab. And so like, getting clean and then relapse and getting clean and relapse. What sort of toll does that take on a man over time?
Well, looking back on him now, I was never fully ready to get clean when I was doing all the rehab stuff. It was mostly I was getting in trouble. Like there was a couple of times where I was like, my life was just crap. So I was like, me go try this rehab thing and see if it works, thinking it was going to be a magic pill that when I come out, like I'm fixed. You know what I mean? Honestly, the first one, you don't, like
take your car to
they're going to give me
mechanic,
something and I'm going to come out and I'll be healed, and, not knowing what was on the other side. And it was like, well, that didn't think, but, just in trouble with the law, caught some charges, so it was like, well, the judge will, instead of sending me to jail, if I say I'm going to go to treatment, like they're like, they'll give you that option. So that's kind of what I'd say most of them were.
Just like possession, or did you
possession
you
charges,
never got into distribution at all?
No, okay. I mean, they did, but I think my plea agreement, they dropped it.
Nice. Okay, good. Looked out. So, so I guess what I'm kind of hearing you say is when you went some of those previous times, it was not, not because you had hit this sort of rock bottom.
I was never, say I always took the shovel with me
Yeah.
when I was down at
Yeah.
rock bottom. You know, I
Yeah.
was like, I can dig this a little bit
Yeah.
more. I
Oh,
guarantee
man.
it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
just not ready. And if it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't ready, I just hadn't found that piece that I was missing to really make me feel like I was worthy of anything. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I felt like I had just screwed up so bad
Yep.
and there was no really going back. It's like, this is who I am. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna be in and out of jail,
Yeah.
um, live this life and, work and support it and do whatever, like
Yep.
I had just come to terms with it and then finally realized it didn't have to be.
What was that? Do you remember like that kind of moment? Like when you were
Of
finally at like a place where like, I gotta change something? What was that?
Yeah. So, my daughter was born because we did 6 rounds of IVF because I was really trying hard to stay clean stuff, and then we had to do IVF
Okay.
to get my daughter here, and I struggled through all that. It was just really hard. We did end up having a miscarriage on our first try,
Mm.
um, but thank the Lord, man. We got Evelyn, and so she was like 9 or 10 months old, and I'm just like, I can't be. This is not. I'm still like, I'm working and being responsible, but I'm still battling with this. This thing's got
Yeah.
me by the balls.
Sure.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's not. It's still there,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, one day it was just like, I can't have my daughter growing up
Mm.
with telling her story of trauma or anything because her dad was
Yeah.
this. So it was just like one day it was just like woke up and was just kind of like, that's it.
Just
Like,
ready.
I'm done, and that was it. So I was looking back, I was like, man, that was all it took.
Yeah.
Like just to like wake up one day and be like,
Yeah.
you're done. And then like it's stuck for some reason, like all those other times where you're
Yeah.
spending money going to rehabs and doing all the things and like,
Yeah.
and it was kind of all a waste. In a sense, I mean, I made some good relationships with some good people now, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, my daughter really kind of saved my life,
Yeah.
without her even knowing it, you know what I
Same.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My daughter was 3, and I don't know if you did this, but I had come up with this thing where I would piss my wife off so she would kick me out of the house.
so you
Like
could
right before the weekend,
like on a Friday,
So
yeah.
it'd be like a Thursday, so I could just go, right? And be
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
irresponsible and not have any responsibilities. Just I would go, get a trashy motel room at the American on 72nd, and I would just sit there by myself, right,
Yeah.
with a bag of drugs and a
Yep.
case of beer
That's
and
it.
a carton of cigarettes.
That's
and
all you needed.
And I came home one day and my 3-year-old was like, "Oh, you came back." And my wife had sort of told her I was on a work trip.
Mm.
And I just remember that just being like heartbreaking.
Yeah,
And
like,
you're just sort
what
of
am I
like,
doing? Yeah.
yeah, this is, and you, to your point, you think about what story are they going to tell?
Right.
And am I going to be that deadbeat dad in their story that left them with all this trauma?
Because I think, because I kind of realized that like I didn't have that story. It was a hard thing going to rehabs and stuff, listening to these people's trauma and stuff that they had grown up with parents who were, I mean, you hear some wild stuff,
Yeah.
and I didn't have that childhood. I mean, I had 2 parents who loved me.
Yeah.
They'd made great money. I had all the things, you know what I mean? I was
Mhm.
athletic. I did all you know what I mean? I didn't have like childhood trauma. I didn't have any mommy or daddy issues. You know what I mean? They didn't abandon me. I didn't have any of those excuses to
Right.
be
Yeah.
doing what I was doing,
Yeah.
and, and I definitely didn't want to, because I know it, so it doesn't discriminate, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't have to have those things to be an
Right.
addict. I'm just saying it doesn't
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
There's sort
like
of a
you s-
trend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think statistically you might be higher chance of becoming
Yeah.
one if you have all
Yep.
these things, because you're like I said, trying to fill that puzzle piece that is missing, and
Yep.
it does a good job of mimicking those feelings that you're missing,
Yep.
at first,
At least for a time.
yeah, at least for a time.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about that the other day of just, dopamine and how much we underestimate the power that has.
Yeah.
Even just like at work, right? Sending an email, a little like dopamine hit of like,
Finishing a
I got a
project.
task done.
Yeah, a project. Yeah.
But so talk me through. So you have just the one
Just
daughter?
the one. Yep. She turns 4 this month.
Okay.
The 14th.
That's awesome.
She's going to be,
That's awesome. Are you going to try for more or with the IVF
we
thing?
did one more cycle.
Okay.
After her and it didn't work. So we're kind of done with that.
Yeah.
Avenue anyway. It's very expensive and it's very, very hard on the women, I mean, honestly, it didn't take a toll on me. Like I just did my sample.
Same, just like thing. Without IVF.
Yeah,
the
guy's honestly,
not doing
you know what I mean?
lot.
Like, I mean, they have to do really shots and they're on all these hormones. Like, so rough. Like, I don't know if you know anybody that says that they've gone through IVF, like give that woman a hug.
It's a lot.
it's so much. It's more than you can even imagine. It's like so hard. And then not even just the physical toll, but like the mental toll on them. Yeah. Because they feel like they're broken and they're letting you down or something, which I never felt that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't think that, but of course they do. Cause they're like, I want to give, so they're all over the place and it's really, really tough.
It really is like another interesting sort of like topic that you outside of F3, I never really heard guys talk about as sort of miscarriages or fertility issues. But then inside of F3, the longer I've been in it, you do hear guys sharing like we had a miscarriage or we went through IVF and it didn't work, or even we're going through IVF and, praying that it works, and I think that's one of those things that is, it just takes a toll. We had a miscarriage before our third daughter was born. And I remember, sort of like getting excited, like thinking like, we're going to need a minivan, or, some of those things. Yeah. And then to find out you had the miscarriage and you're sort of like, well, wait a minute. I had like in my head added another
all these
person to our family. And now they're not, that's not going to happen, and so I think, just be thankful for the kids that we get to have, What, so has your daughter been to a 2.0 workout or anything like that? Not yet. Okay. No. Someday, maybe?
Yeah, someday. I know. So Mama's boy, who's the Psych Q, along with Double Jump, he hit after they took over, or was it before they took over? Now I can't remember, but he hosted a daddy-daughter disco.
Oh, that's
event.
Cool.
It was like one evening or whatever.
That's super cool.
Yeah, hopefully here in a couple of years, if he continues that trend. I guess they said it was a blast. I wasn't able to make it, but a lot of guys brought their daughters and
I should do that.
Played frisbee.
I've got 3 daughters.
They said it was so much fun. Like they had the best time. They said it was one of the best disco outings they've ever had. So I'm looking forward to taking her here one of these years. So
yeah. Hey, are you the type of guy that likes to get up early in the winter to battle your jester? Do you love listening to people drone on and on and on about COVID in the gloom? Would you trust your vision to a guy nicknamed Cataracts? Well, if the answer to any of these questions is yes, fellas, you have bigger problems than you think. Dr. Cataracts, aka Dr. Wolf, can't solve all of your problems, but he can certainly help you solve the problems related to your eye health and vision. You will find many F3 principles throughout his practice. Check him out today at Exclusively Eye Care. And talk me through, like, thinking everything you've been through and now getting to be a father. What's that like for you?
It's almost don't have any words, because like especially being the dad, or like the person I am now, and being able to be a dad, like I'm all in. You know what I mean? Like since my wife leaves for work early, like I wake her up. I'm it, man. And I love it. So I take her to daycare and drop her off, and then with my job, my hours are kind of flexible, so I can kind of leave work most of the time, kind of when I want. So the earliest to like kind of pick her up from daycare is like 4 o'clock, because that's kind of when they wake up from their nap and have their little snack and can play. So like I usually pick her up every day at 4, so like I take her and I pick her up, and we do all the things, and being her hero, being just bigger than life. Cause I know, I mean, like I said, I'm a pretty big dude. So I know like her looking at me, like I'm just like the biggest thing ever, just this biggest thing ever, and I love it. I eat it up. I mean, she's got me wrapped around her finger for sure. Cause like my wife is the, the stern one. Yep. And I am not. So like, she'll like ask my wife already at free,
Yeah.
ask my wife something. My wife's like, no. And she comes over and Dad, like,
yeah.
and Sarah, my wife will hear and be like, I said no. Like, why are you asking him?
Yeah.
She's like, you got to get that under control. I'm like,
You're not
whatever.
alone in
Yeah.
that.
So I'm all in.
They figure
Love
out
being a
pretty
dad.
quickly, right?
I hope, because it's like my whole identity, so I hope, but I know it's not going to last. Like, I'm not going to be her favorite person, when she starts getting older and stuff, so hopefully I can find a new identity by then, because that's my identity now. So hopefully I can evolve with her, because I do worry about that, because like I think as addicts, like we find something that we love and we like, and this is awesome. Like, like you're all in, and then if it gets taken away, you're kind of like, now what do I do? So I'm sure it'll be all right.
You'll have to read. There's a book out there called Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. And she talks about that, right? Like as time goes on, you sort of see like this tension, and she really, it's this Meg Meeker. She's a child psychiatrist or psychologist. And she really says, like, hold your ground as a dad, be strong. Cause they're sort of testing will you fight for me?
Okay.
But anyway, that's would be a good book to check out. I know, it's hard, right? Cause you feel like, for my first daughter, right, the first 3 years of her life, I was a complete piece of crap.
Right.
And then the two after her have gotten a totally different guy.
So you probably kind of feel,
there's tons of guilt there.
Super guilty that like I didn't get to give her.
Right.
This.
It's like, and so as we're watching her mature and grow, I mean, it's just, it is hard. I think it's something that, as time goes on, like you said, I love that idea of like placing my identity in something that, is more consistent over time. And I guess that's maybe a good segue into the faith piece, but would be curious, like, what has faith looked like for you over the years? Because it sounds like you were a Christian.
I've always been, I grew up in the church. My parents, I've always been a believer, nothing has really strayed me away from believing. It was just, there's a difference between believing and following, obviously, like you can believe it, but it's like, I don't have to do the things. I can believe the things, but I don't have to do it. But it was once you start to follow and doing, that's where the shift is, dying to self, it's not, the world doesn't evolve around me. But that's where you get the most growth and the most out of it is knowing that I'm not the most important thing. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like,
so even as a kid, you grew up going to church, and then did you go to church when you were in college even, or kind of took a break
Not
there?
when I was in college, no. I think once the drug scene and the party scene came in, it was like, what's the point? I mean, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, it was almost too shameful. Yeah, it was almost too shameful. Like, I'll come back when I'm ready type of thing. I don't want to show my face in there. It was hard to even try to have a conversation with God when you're, So
I remember living such a double life. I distinctly remember one Sunday sitting in church and I'd been up all night using, and remember just like had the sniffles really bad. I was heating up, and I remember like having to like almost leave, just being like really embarrassed, because you're so paranoid,
right?
And
everybody knows,
man. But you made a comment. I wonder if you could dive into deeper, because I think that's where I was at. Right, I had been going to church. I knew all the stuff. Right, I knew the right things to say, but it wasn't changing the way I lived, because I didn't fully experience it or actually surrender. But what was your experience with that? How did you sort of like make that change?
Well, I mean, it was like once, because I was going to church, like when I finally woke up that day, saying like, enough's enough. Like, I'm done. Like we were going to church on Sundays, doing the men's group, because I knew that was really my only path, that had been told to me hundreds of times that like, hey, this is, you want the truth, and like, you want the real deal. Like, this is the way to go. So I was kind of going through the motions, but it was more just really realizing that I was worth it, like in his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
like I was worth being saved to just forgiveness. Forgiveness was the biggest thing because I couldn't let go of what I had done and what I had been.
Mm-hmm.
And until you can finally forgive yourself for it, that was the biggest knowing that I had been forgiven. So now I can forgive myself. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't just sit there and dwell on all of the mistakes I've made because
Yeah.
it's not gonna do any good from
Yeah.
here on out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the biggest thing, trying to forgive myself
Mm.
from all the hurt that I had done it to,
Right.
and trying to ask them for forgiveness because you can't really even ask them for forgiveness after so many years or whatever,
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
your words mean absolutely nothing. So it's an action, now
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can't say anything. You just have to do.
Yeah.
And it's just a time, like it just takes time. And then you'll finally get to a place where you don't even have to say anything. They can just tell by your actions
Mm-hmm.
and the way you're presenting yourself, you're living like you're doing,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah. It's so cool that just to hear that piece of your journey. I know, y- for me, it's like I remember trying to be like sorry enough, and I remember my pastor sort of going like, it's not what it's about, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to like be sorry enough to earn the forgiveness, right? Like Jesus died on the cross like that forgiveness is yours. Like you have to receive it. And like you're saying, part of that like repentance, right, is
Hmm.
is changing the behavior. How do you, so you feel pretty good now? You feel like you've got things in place to kind of prevent another
Oh,
relapse, or
thousand
is
percent.
that sort of always on your mind as
Never,
a
it's never on my, it's not on my mind.
good,
Hasn't been for quite a while,
nice?
still have dreams every once in a while, oddly enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, I say it's been 3 years, which doesn't really sound like a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, to an addict, that's an
that's a
eternity. And
long time.
it seems like it was a whole other lifetime ago. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like it's almost like it wasn't even real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just like, and my wife says that too. She's like, it feels like it was literally like 20 years ago. Like
Mhm.
just how much has changed
Mhm.
since that first day.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. I would also be curious, as we think about leadership, right? So our mission in F3 is invigorate male community leadership. I know for me, it was really impactful to get to lead because I was sort of like, really, you know my story.
Yeah.
You're gonna let me lead now. But talk me through your
Yeah.
journey.
So
What was
I
that
don't
like for
know.
you?
I don't think they knew my story or,
Okay,
honestly, like, I
but
don't
they
know how
also
they,
didn't take the flag back, right? When
I
you told,
think
yeah,
I had mentioned maybe to a couple people that like I was in recovery, but, just started going to disco and apparently, whatever I was doing must have stuck out,
yeah, yeah,
to Scuba. Shout out to Scuba.
yeah.
Randomly one day was like, "Hey, do you want to be the site Q?" And I was like, "I don't know what that means, but sure." Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that
like
sounds great.
what does
Yeah.
that mean? Because I wasn't really like into all the lingo and like
Yeah.
didn't know how anything was really ran. Like I was
Mhm.
just like, I would text Tea Party like, "Hey, where are you posting?" Like, so I'm not gonna just go to some random site
Yeah.
without him going. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yep.
need to know somebody there. Is like too
Mhm.
awkward. He's like, "Well, I'm going here. Well, I'm going here." So I'm like, "All right, like that's where I'm gonna go."
Yeah.
Um, and then we started going to disco, and then he ended up getting the armory
Yep.
site cube.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, I guess I'll go by myself.
Yeah.
And then Scuba was like, hey, I was thinking you and Amazing could do the site cube thing. I'm like I said, I had no idea what that entailed. I had
Did you
no
know
clue.
Amazing at all?
Just from because he started a few months after I did, and he had been at sites. So
Yeah.
yeah, we had worked out
And he
a
was a
bunch.
Bennington guy, but I think
He
he
was,
moved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So we had started going to workouts together even before we were site cues.
Yeah.
Some bruiser friendly stuff.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning, man, it was like I did way too much, way too soon. Like I was battling injuries. My body was like
Yeah. Slow
screaming at me,
down.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
hey man, like take it
Yeah.
easy.
Yep.
So it was nice to have already known Amazing before we took that on together. So
Yeah. What do you think about, when you think about leadership, like what does that mean, or how do you see that sort of showing up in your day to day?
Just leading by example. Like
Mm,
there wasn't much to do other than just showing up and being the encouraging person,
mm-hmm.
good jobs and like encouraging F and G's. And
Yeah.
I think just a good leader is a good follower,
Mm,
and so it was just, I don't know, it must have just came naturally because I didn't like try
yeah.
I wasn't trying to be psych Q, I was just showing up wanting to
Yeah.
play,
Yeah.
so I must have been um doing all the leadership things that Scuba had seen in me without even knowing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think I had said that in my COT at the flag pass to Mama's Boy and double jump. Like, thanks Scuba for seeing something in myself that I did not see in
Yeah.
myself at the time. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
hadn't been coming to F3 a whole lot long for very much time.
Yeah.
You know, um, so yeah, it was cool because like going into it, you think it's one thing, the site Q thing. You
Yeah.
just like, oh, I just show up and like bring the stuff, and then by the time you're done, it kind of becomes like you just have this like pride about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is actually kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm like the head of this site. Like I
Yeah.
make all, like I am
We
running
can do
it, like
whatever we want.
yeah, we can do
Yeah.
it free to lead,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah.
But Scuba helped out a ton because, like I said, going into it, I told him I was like, I'll do it, but like I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
I was really nervous and kind of scared. Amazing stepped up and helped when we were doing, because we do it twice a week. We do disco
Right.
Wednesdays and
Yeah.
Fridays. So when my wife's schedule changed and I couldn't go Wednesdays, so I was like, you're gonna have to do Wednesdays and
I'll do
I'll do
Friday.
Fridays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But so you kind of knew amazing, but did being co-site Qs did that
It
like bring you guys
totally,
closer? Yeah.
totally did, because there's a lot of communication getting the equipment back and forth, and
Yeah.
the laundry,
Yeah,
we
I've heard.
wash
Yeah.
the pennies and
Yeah.
stuff. My wife hated that. She was
Yeah.
so excited when I wasn't the site queue anymore, bringing
Yeah.
those sweaty, stinky pennies in to
Yeah.
wash them in our washing machine. She's like, this is so gross. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That's awesome. So you're in a leadership role at work too, right?
Yep. I'm the service manager.
What do you think? And I don't know, like anything from F3 or just being a psych Q, or maybe not, but what do you think makes a good leader? Like I know you said lead by example, but anything else on that list for
Well,
you that
for me at work, because I was a service technician for so many years,
Mhm.
I know what the guys are going through. Like I've been there.
Yeah.
I know sometimes it's hard to follow a leader who hasn't gone through it or doesn't know what you're doing. So like
Yeah.
my at work, like especially like 90% of my time is helping my guys like on their jobs. Like it doesn't have to be, but that's how
Yeah.
I do it. It's like, oh, you got a kind of a tough job today. I'm coming there and we're gonna do it together.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's not a like I'm coming there to like make sure you're doing it right. It's
Just
like,
stand around and watch.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, let's knock this out
You can actually
quicker.
do the work.
Yeah, I know how to do
alongside
the
them.
work, and ask if they ask questions, they're always calling me and stuff. So
That's all.
yeah.
That's really cool. I was just talking to somebody earlier about that same thing. And I think when you know the work that your people are doing, you can advocate for them better.
Sure.
You can coach them better. Give it, I fully agree. It's a really good insight.
And not being afraid to or admit that like I don't know this, or like, if they're
Mhm.
calling you and they're like, hey, how do you do this? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like I'll come there and we can try and figure it out together.
Yep.
Not having to have all the answers and being able to admit it,
Yeah.
I think has shown a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Or they have shown me a lot of respect, just being able to admit like, bro, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna sit here and lie to you and try and sound like I do.
Make something up.
Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I don't know. You might have to call tech support if I can come there. Maybe we can figure it out together. And if we can't, like, we'll call somebody who does know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll
We
never act like I know everything.
We've had that, and shout out to Flying V. So he owns Skradsky's Heating and Air.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we have a geothermal system,
Mhm.
and there aren't a ton of guys that know how to work that. And he's got a guy at his company that knows how to work it. But I've witnessed him trying to kind of teach or
Yep.
knowledge share with some of the younger guys, and it's cool. It's cool to see that, I think. But one of the things I guess I would be curious your thoughts as you're thinking about. So you've handed off the flag.
Mhm.
Sometimes we see guys like when you hand off a flag, you kind of like, I don't know, stop posting or
Oh,
kind
no.
of drift back. But what's your plan as you're going forward?
I go to disco every Friday.
Okay.
When I
Still all in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll never be not all in
If
there.
you feel like if your schedule opens up, you'll go to some of the
1000%.
other days.
Every once in a while when my daughter will stay at like her grandma's or something.
Oh, yeah.
So like some Thursdays I can go. I did get to go a couple Wednesdays ago to disco.
Nice.
But yeah, like
yeah. What's the draw to disco for you? Is the team? It's the team, and it's sort of like this idea of like I get a workout without feeling like a workout.
It's exactly right. It's this competitive workout. Like I mean, averaging on the low end of 2 miles, you're going to get 2 miles of a workout in.
Mm-hmm.
Sprints, some jogging, some walking, whatever. Go at your own pace. But you don't realize the time going by because you're having fun while you're working out. Like if you can kind of distract yourself from like the workout, it's just like a game. I think disco's got a lot of slack for injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so wild to me because it's not like that at all. It's not a contact sport. You're just throwing a Frisbee and you're running. So it's like, I've been to beatdowns that were 10 times more dangerous than a disco.
So I was there on the launch and I remember seeing flowers, but I think that was like just like such a rare thing.
Yeah.
What I guess I would be curious too, the other thing and just to get your thoughts on this, but when we had interviewed Amazing and we were talking about the number of new guys,
the FNGs
and younger guys. So talk me through that because you're kind of in this role as a site Q, you get to kind of steward and mentor.
Sure. Yeah, that's I think just the sport competitive aspect of it. Obviously, when you're younger, that's what you're kind of into because you're able to. I guess that's why I was like, man, if I was here and when I was in my like 18 to 20 or whatever, I was like,
it would be a much different story.
These, you know what I mean? Like these old men wouldn't have a chance.
Baby shoes wouldn't have
wouldn't have nothing on me. No. So I think that has an appeal to it too. These young kids that are super athletes in their prime can come and kind of show out a little bit, and be really awesome. But then also at the same time, they get kind of humbled by us older guys. And we'll put up a fight with them. But the FNG numbers are always big because it's like I said, at that age, it's like, hey, do you want to go work out or do you want to like go play? No, like, well, yeah, obviously I would choose the latter.
Yeah. I'll never forget that when I was there at the launch, I was on the opposite team of Baby Shoes. And I feel like he threw a pass to himself and scored you call it a touchdown or a point or I forget, but he like threw a pass to himself and he might have even done it behind his back, but he's played sort of
him and double jump are two really good players who play like competitively.
I think that got me. I was sort of like, man, because you also like there are some guys that have gotten really good because they're playing all the time, right? Which is super cool to see.
And that we were kind of saying that this morning because I remember, the first year going in kind of the second year of disco, it was like when we count off into fours or sometimes just twos because there was enough people for just one game or two games. I remember instantly if like, oh, those people can't be on this. Like we would have to split up people and not letting them be on the same team because there was like maybe 5 guys that were really good and the rest of us were just kind of like, not good. But now it's like, it doesn't matter.
You don't really have to split
we don't have to split the teams anymore because everybody has gotten so much better
awesome.
Just in the last couple of years. And it's been really, really cool and fun to watch that. Even guys who had struggled at the beginning, just wanting to be there, but were obviously not very athletic or coordinated, but now are, they've really figured out their little groove and are competitors. And that's,
And you don't have to be the fastest guy,
No,
right? You can
no.
just be strategic in knowing how to, throw the right passes and that sort of thing. Well, I mean, I just love your story, and I'm just sort of blown away, sort of God, orchestrating, right? Like I've never really gotten a chance to hear your story, and then hearing it today, all the similarities, and just, I love, you made a comment earlier about, sort of alluding to like the strength it has when we share those stories.
1000%.
And so I'm so glad that we get to share this with guys listening. And anything else kind of on the list as you're thinking that you would want to share with guys?
I would kind of like to dive down some conspiracy theories and some.
Let's do that. That's yeah. There are some of those. Yeah,
just joking.
It's funny.
Thought we turn this into like a Joe Rogan experience or something.
Right? We could. No. I thought about that. It is funny. There are a lot of those out there. No, I truly though, just appreciate you and the man that you are. I also think too, just to reiterate, sometimes in F3, like it feels like you have to, post all the time and go to all the events and, to be a part of it. But hopefully guys are hearing and hopefully your experience, right? Like it's okay if you can't post every day. Like we still love you. We still want to see you. Even if it's one day a week, one day, one or 2 days a week.
Example, we had a guy that showed up today, tardy, but I guess there's two tardies. So this guy, I had never seen before, and he showed up to disco this morning. I didn't know it was a disco. Like he hadn't posted in he said like 2.5 years. Okay. Was driving by and saw the lights on at the field and the flag, and he's like, "Oh, I'll go and do a beatdown," and it was disco. And dude crushed it.
Just loved it.
Yeah, he's like, "This is the best day I've ever." He's like, hadn't been out in 2.5 years. Came out and played. Won the MVP award. Man, and he's like, "I'm coming back. This is
found his fit."
Yeah, this is amazing. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
But I think I had said in one of my COTs about really focusing on the FNGs because that's what got me, really stuck on F3. I think it's a saying is it AA or NA that we can't keep what we have without giving it away. They're one of their mottos, and I feel like that's true in this culture. Trying to. I've only successfully EH'd one person. I mean, I'm trying. I try to EH everybody. All my friends that I successfully did. One guy, he doesn't come anymore. Just trying to share, like trying to get everybody. I know it doesn't sound appealing, but like once you get into it, like there's so much more to offer than just a workout. You know what I mean? There's just so much more to it.
And I love this story about Tardy, right? Who's not the Tardy that was recently a site Q at the Maze.
Yeah,
but different
other guy.
There's so many of those guys too. That over the years, like I think about Borland. I don't know if you know him. He's a guy in Bennington, but he started in 2018, moved to Bennington, didn't come because we didn't have any sites, and now we have sites there, right? So like we've grown so much, we have so many different things going on, that reaching out to those guys that maybe fell off, I mean, there's like 3,500 guys in PaxNet, but we know they're not all posting every week. So even that, right, reaching back out to some of the guys that we've maybe lost touch with.
I think one of the cool things too is there's a lot of guys that when you go and you see them, you might not even like really have a relationship with them, but just seeing them and just their personality or whatever can have such an impact on you, like those, for whatever reason, they're just kind of a memorable person. And without them even realizing they have an impact on you, because I remember like, Tea Party, he EH'd me, but his brother Jump Street, at first, like, it's just for whatever reason, I was just kind of drawn to those two guys and was like, I'm going to go wherever they're posting. And, Jump Street probably didn't even realize he had an impact on me, but he did without even realizing it. So I think, being open and telling your story and like, hey, this is what I've been through. If it can be impactful to somebody without even me knowing it, then that's the goal, like.
Yeah, guys like Jump Street and Farva used to make me nervous, because they're police officers. But now I have nothing to hide, So I'm like, search my car.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I would be curious, kind of where we like to end is like where do you currently need prayers, support, encouragement? If we see you out there, what should we be kind of checking up with you on?
I usually don't ask for prayers for myself. That's a good question. I don't know. Man, I guess I'd honestly just rather you pray for my wife, or just pray for me as just being a better husband and father. I mean, not that I'm not now, but you can always be better. That's what I mean. So like, just pray that I can, keep being the best me that I can for them. They deserve it. They've earned it. But really, there's no struggles really that I'm going through, or health issues, or
what a blessing,
or anything.
Right?
Yeah, I'm super blessed. Way more than I obviously deserve. And I think that's the other thing. I came out of it with, pretty luckily clean health. All my doctor's appointments that I've had, they're like, you're still healthy. I'm like, I shouldn't be, but I am. So I'm like, I don't want to waste it. I know a lot of people who didn't make it out. Over the years, it's pretty dangerous out there right now, especially.
Well, between just the health impact and then also the sketchy situations and people that you put yourself around, we're lucky to be alive. I mean, to your point,
super lucky.
So definitely thankful for that. On the marriage front, I think we could all use that, right? I mean, if Ephesians 5:25, love your wife like Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Like, if that's the standard, we could always all be doing a little bit better there. So definitely, we'll be praying for you.
Okay,
we'll do a little Nemo to wrap us up. I just have to truly tell you how thankful I am for
thank you for having me,
and your story, and just it's so cool because your story gives me more power and encouragement, and your story will give all these other guys that are listening to it more power and encouragement to just be who God's created us to be. And that's I don't know, just it gets me super excited.
That's awesome, man.
We'll do a little Nemo. I'll start us off. Brandon Flehardy, 39, The Plague.
Plague. Ryan Bennett, 40, Dirt King.
And do we have a call sign, or has anybody come up with anything like a room?
No, no. I don't think they even know that.
They all think it's excavate.
Yeah, probably. Okay. I didn't even unless you were there at the when I got named.
Well, maybe after this, guys will come up with it. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, awesome. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been bruised, but we rise again, we don't get to choose. Through the fire, through the fight, every man's story burns in the night. Scars on our hands, hope in our chest, we're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame, different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell, from the valley low to the mountaintop hill. Every man's got a story inside, standing strong, we won't hide. Every man's got a story. Avoided the valley low to the mountaintop, Every man, got a story inside, standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, every man's got a story. Voices rise like thunder, they roll. Truth in the pain, it's shaping the soul. Chains may rattle, but they break in time. Every man's story is yours and mine. From the struggle to the glory, every man's got a story. In the dark or in the light, we keep marching through the night. Every man, every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop hill. Every man, got a story inside, standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, every man's got a story. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop hill. Every man's got a story inside, standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, every man's got a story.